Here he is, the pride of East Vancouver, the national sports editor of the Daily Hive and its Offside Sports Vertical. We missed Rob the hockey guy, Rob Williams, last week because he was off gallivanting California with the Canucks. How was your trip, Rob?
Yeah, it was a good time. Yeah, we had a great time. Ducks fans are into it. They were like definitely fired up at the big win. It was it was the Offspring night. They had the Offspring in attendance and playing Offspring music all night, so that was kind of cool. But yeah, it was interesting. It's kind of interesting just hearing people talk about hockey in kind of non-traditional hockey markets. Like, spoke to so many people that are like, they like going to Ducks games. Like, they like the Ducks, even if they don't really know much about them, even if they don't go very often. They probably don't follow them, when they're not at the game, but they like the experience. They like going to Ducks.
Well, it's kind of like us with the Vancouver Canadians, like you're going for the experience and for a fun day out. You may not know the players all that
That's
well.
Right. The core audience there is fine. No one's ever doubted that about some of these non-traditional hockey markets. It's just they don't have the expansive audience that the other sports do. Yeah,
it's just small.
Right.
They got to get the casuals in there. I will say this: it is one of my favorite rinks in the National Hockey League. It is a marvelous facility, and like the area around it and all that.
It's my favorite media candy bar. That is
is far and away the best media candy bar. At least the last time we were there, Blake, when we saw Richard Bachman stand on his head and win a game that the Canucks had no business winning on talent. Can I just ask this, because this was much discussed in my household last night as Carmen and her best friend were taking in the game. How do we feel about these Ducks unis this year? I know you're the uni guy, Rob. How do we feel about these Ducks unis with all that orange?
I have strong feelings about these Ducks uniforms, guys. There's way too much orange. Like, they went with the orange pant. They got it right with the logo. They go back to the original logo. That's, clearly being their best, the logo. I think the Ducks are giving the Vancouver Canucks a run for their money in terms of, like, identity crisis. Like, their originals were good, but then they went off. Remember when they first entered the league, they were known as the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim. It's very very French of them to list it like that. Then they became the
Anaheim. D'Anaheim.
D'Anaheim.
Yeah, like the only thing left would be like the Los Angeles Ducks of Anaheim or something like that. But the orange, I hated their previous uniforms. I thought they were just god awful, like the Scott Niedermayer era Ducks uniforms, just terrible. Because they were so boring, and now these are just like, there's just so much orange. Like,
do you want the eggplant and the teal back? I don't mind them. You guys can both be wrong about this. They're unique. They're unique. Do you want the eggplant and teal back?
The option, the object is to stand out more than blend in, and they certainly stand out.
Yeah,
you could go back to the eggplant, but you could if they wanted orange, you could do orange, but you just need more black in there. Just black, more black with pops of orange. Just the orange on orange.
They always like the black. Huh?
Like, take a page of the BC Lions playbook. It looks way better with the black and the pops of orange.
That's what everybody says about every team. They should just go gunmetal black. Not everybody can be black v black.
No, certainly not. And Blake, it's even more stylish than I thought en français. Les canards puissants d'Anaheim. Huh? Puissant. Okay. Moving right.
De Laval, in case they get moved. De Quebec. If they...
Ducky. Canard puissant d'Anaheim. Okay. Rob, we're going to ask you the Surrey Mitsubishi poll question. Are you okay if the Canucks do nothing, nada, zip, between now and trade deadline?
No, because I think you're sitting on the fence too much then. I mean, I'm the guy that, I don't know, how many weeks ago was it that I was saying, they probably should just punt on this season. Like, this ain't it. Like, this isn't their year. I think we all know that. It's hard to do that when there's maybe that could be the difference between making or missing the playoffs. So I get it. I don't think they should be making any moves to, like, this move will get us into the playoffs, or this move might win us around. Like that, those moves I think are clearly not. That's not the play this year. But I think there should be some tinkering involved here. And you look at the prices, the deadline prices seem to be quite high. So yeah, I think they should try it. They should do something. I think if they don't do anything, I think that's not a job well done at the deadline.
How much?
As a publisher, I'm very disappointed in you because it takes away from the possibility of you when Quinn didn't make any moves at the deadline, he became stand pat.
That's right.
And Alvin gives you that opportunity to use that headline. You should be cheering
no
for
one calls
nothing.
Him Pat. People call him Patrick.
But for the purposes of the headline, you can do it. Stand pat dash Rick.
Yeah.
It's right there.
It's a little clunky. It's not quite as flowing as the Canal
it's more of a newspaper
Anaheim.
headline.
Oh, the Daily Hive's above that? I wasn't aware.
No, but that's...
Oh, look at here.
You know, like the traditional... I mean, like a print newspaper headline, not like what they'd have on their website, but you just have stand pat, and then that would be it, right? So,
yeah.
Wow, we
need keywords
sand.
In there. There's a lot of other, there's a lot
So
of
you're
SEO
telling
stuff
me
that-
you're ready?
There was a day he would have aspired to newspaperdom, and now he's drawing a line saying, no, they will leave that to
You're
the
drawing the line here.
newspapers.
If they don't do anything, you're not going to use stand pat. You're gonna make that promise right here on Sekeres and Bryce?
How can he now?
I don't need stand pat. That's okay.
No,
Whoa.
I don't need it. I don't
got-
need it on my feed either. You're more clever than that, Rob.
Okay. I'm disappointed, but all right.
Does it make any sense to you to keep Boeser?
I'm not so. I feel like people are kind of going like I get the drawbacks to signing him long term. He's his foot speed's an issue. How is he going to age? I think that's a question with every player as you get into your 30s. My question is, what is the alternative? We know this team is not willing to take a step back to get better. So is the plan to replace him in free agency? What do you think the prices are going to be like in unrestricted free agency in a year where the salary cap is finally going up a bunch? Do you think NHL GMs they are going to jump out of their boots to throw silly money around? So to me, you've got a player that fits in your room. You've got a player that loves Vancouver. You should be able to get him at some semblance of a discount, given those facts, and you get him before the open market, which is going to, I expect everyone's socks are going to be knocked off when we see what players are going to be getting on the open market. So you've got a 28-year-old, I don't really want, I think you should be wary about signing him to a 6-year deal or something like that. But what are you going to do in free agency? What top line winger are you going to get in free agency that's going to agree to a 4-year deal that's going to score 30 goals for you? I just don't see it. I don't see it happening. So to me, I think they should be, certainly trying harder than they seem to have this entire time to bring back Boeser. This is a guy that scored 40 goals for you a year ago. He's still one of your best goal scorers. You need more goal scorers, not fewer. So losing Boeser, I think, puts you in a tough spot because you still need to add to this team.
Did Brian Dumoulin's trade get you intrigued about Forbert and Soucy?
Definitely. I mean, I think those are the moves that okay, you can trade you can trade a Soucy, you can trade a Forbert, and I wasn't fond of the idea of trading Soucy, but hey, everyone's got a price. Now that you've got Marcus Pettersson in the fold, can you trade one of your third pairing defensemen and still make the playoffs? Absolutely you can. I think we've seen enough from Elias Pettersson to be intrigued in that regard. So yeah, I think that you could. There's a world where you deal off a third pairing defenseman if you get a good price for a player like that. Yeah, why not look into that? And I think you can sell in that regard. You can sell a third pair defenseman and that's not waving the white flag on this season. That's just like capitalizing on the market. Whereas if you were to do the same with Boeser, that does send a different message. Not saying they shouldn't do it if they could hit a home run on a Boeser trade, but that's a tough message to send to your room if you're trying to make the playoffs.
Pettersson, I want to know what you made of his comments there on Tuesday, and of course the follow-up.
The follow-up, yeah.
The game.
Well, speaking of headlines, our headline had something to the effect of Elias Pettersson finally opens up about his struggles, and finally was the word for me, where it was like, thank you. Like, what took so long? Like, he's going to win. Like, ultimately, he has to improve his play on the ice. And I think Wednesday's game was an excellent start. Like, he's shooting the puck, he's looking assertive. He's not just deferring to other players and just dishing the puck off and just not wanting any part of being a difference maker. Ultimately, he has to improve his play. He has to become a star again. The guy I think most smart hockey people know he can be again and know he probably will be again, but it's just taking forever. But in the meantime, he is not doing himself any favors by being cranky with the media, blaming the media, just not taking responsibility. And I think that being open and honest about what's bothering him is going to do him a lot more favors with this fan base. And I think in the fan base, a significant portion of this fan base has turned on Elias Pettersson. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Mm-hmm. This is a player that was beloved in Vancouver, and it won't take that much for people to love him again. Like people want to love him. He just is making it so difficult right now.
But there are still things missing from his game last night. Effort was great, but I mean, it's still not the same old Elias Pettersson. Points.
Yeah, I mean, like this is supposed to be a top 10 center in the league, right? He's far from that. We're not sure if he's the top center on the Canucks right now. He has to produce. He has to score. He has to be a star, and he isn't right now. He wasn't on Wednesday, but it's a step at least. Like seeing some life out of him was good to see, and I did think he made some confident looking plays. I think the fact that he won so many faceoffs shows that he's more engaged. I think that's a kind of a telling stat. If you're off on the draws, I think it means your focus probably isn't all there. So yeah, it's like the bar is being lowered a ridiculous amount, but at least he said the right things. I was really interested to see if he would be doing the right things on the ice, and he at least was doing the right things and was, I think it was a step at least.
Lastly, Rob, I have a question from a listener here. Look, a busy weekend sports-wise for Vancouver this weekend. The Canucks playing Friday, Sunday. Of course, the Caps playing Saturday against CF Montreal. And then next week, the Canucks are right back at it. You have the University Basketball Championship, men's and ladies, for the first time ever by one school at a UBC. And also have the high school provincial championships going on at the LEC. So the question comes from a audience member, last name Basketball, first name Phil. You may have heard of him.
First name is Basketball, huh?
Yeah. Well, last name is Basketball.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. No, first name is Basketball. Yeah. Last name Phil. Are you going to be covering this at the Daily Hawkers?
I can't. Phil is the most relentless person on social media. He will ask you a question about high school basketball. I'll usually like.
You will defer.
I'll like the tweet and I'll think I've moved on with my life.
No.
No. The question. No. There will be a follow up.
Yes, he's the dog on the bone. Yep. Okay. We'll look forward to Noah Strang's great coverage of the high school boys championship. Or
Noah will.
If you want to get out to Langley.
Noah will be at UBC for the Canadian Championships. So
hopefully to cover another Carleton Ravens national championship. I'd like that. I'll be out there as well. UBC is going to be there too. So both schools, both teams, men's and ladies. Thanks for this, Rob. Catch up next week. We may have nothing to talk about. Could be very Seinfeldian, or who knows? Maybe they get busy here in the last 24 hours.
Thank you.